Uselessness. I'm Devin.
Dan!
And today we're talking about the menu. But first, Dan, did you like anything?
Yeah, it's been a while since we recorded, of course, over the holidays here. I kind of like banged out a bunch of media that I was catching up on. One, Mario Odyssey, I finally finished that for the Switch. I know that came out like a century ago. It's a good game.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I'll just talk about a few comics I read. I read Spider-Man Life Story, which was pretty cool in that, if you haven't heard about it, it's basically they treat all the Spider-Man continuity as though it happened to all one Spider-Man rather than always rebooting.
Oh,
And so
interesting.
and then he actually ages through the story continuities as well. So it kind of starts off like in the 60s, he's young Peter Parker, and by the end, he's an old man, gray hair and everything like that. And, he's still just trying to do his best as Spider-Man, makes a sacrifice to like end a big threat and everything like that. But it was pretty cool. And I was unsure how they were going to kind of handle it for all the events. So they just kind of pick and choose, and they just kind of like time jump, where it's just like, now he's doing this event, now he's doing this event, like Civil War or whatever, right? So it kind of jumps up ahead.
Oh,
But
that's cool.
yeah, it was super cool. I've heard that they were planning on doing
Meatball wants to tell you about what he likes.
sure.
Hi, buddy. Can you shut up? Okay, go ahead.
No, I had heard that they were going to maybe do that treatment for another character after the kind of the success of this one, because it was a pretty cool idea and it worked pretty well.
Nice.
So I enjoyed that. And then I read the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Why can't I say that word right now? Last Ronin. That was a comic series where there's one left and he's coming back to some sort of mega city, so assumably New York. And he's here to fight the bad guy. And then you find out why he's the last one left and what happened the last time there was a big fight. Basically, all the turtles got murdered except for one. But yeah, it was super cool. Great art style. As far as I know, the original creators, Peter Laird and John Eastman or something Eastman, they were involved. They're still doing it. They're still making Ninja Turtles, and I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. I think it's put together now in one like trade, like book that you can kind of buy and read. So that was super cool.
Nice.
And I read a small prequel one called Aurora Before the Storm, or Aurora, Storm. About Kid Storm in Egypt, and she's part of a thief band, and then she actually, the way this one story plays out, she actually encounters Eben Sur, aka Apocalypse, like way before she's even in the X-Men kind of thing, and like it recognizes like her power and how she'll actually be of use in the future, and so he kind of lets her go. It was pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And the last comic I'll mention was East of West, which is a super popular comic, and I wanted to read more because I only read 15 issues. And what it is that it's kind of like a future tale where the four horsemen of the apocalypse are real, and one of them, Death, he like is basically like, I'm out, I'm not doing this anymore because it's like cyclical, and he's like, I don't want to do it again. And so the other three are like scheming to try to bring about the end of the world. And
oh, wow. So
because they are real, they've actually like, there's like a religion based around them, and because they're like real. So anyway, it's all like messed up future stuff, and like there's sort of, there's magic and there's tech and everything like that. It was really good, like, good politics stuff, and a classic like revenge story, because it turns out Death, he had a son and he's trying to track him down. Really cool. I only read 15 issues. It's done, but it's hard to track down more, at least in our area, without, because apparently there's like some volumes, but I couldn't find them anyway. And I think the last thing I'll mention, Toll of Hounds, the Steven Erikson book series that I was reading. That was book 8. So only 2 more to go.
Nice.
Yeah, super good. What about yourself, Devin? Anything you want to highlight?
I watched Anatomy of a Scandal on Netflix, and it was a very, very silly show. Not on purpose silly. Like, it's supposed to be this, like, I don't know, courtroom drama, but they filmed it like it was a horror movie. Like, every angle is a Dutch angle. They have, like, no jokes shots where like they're like they do the spinning kind of thing. And it looks very silly. It was all right.
So you said this was a show, or?
Yeah, it was like a British show.
Okay, yeah.
And it was like, so I was like Googling about, because I was like, this must, like, where did this come from kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was very like unrealistic, but the top like Google question about it was, is this based on a real event? But it was like, oh, I don't want to spoil it in case people want to watch it, but the premise is really stupid. And if you, the thing with the lawyer is very, very stupid. And if you knew anything about law, you would not think that this actually happened.
Right.
I'll just say that. And then I read the 3rd volume of the Lore Olympus comics came out, so I read that, and it was pretty good.
Nice.
I've been watching The Last of Us. It's only 2 episodes in, but I'm really enjoying it. Yeah,
definitely. I'm enjoying the heck out of it as well.
It's so visually pleasing, hey?
Yeah, I mean, just from just everything about it has been good.
Oh, yeah. No, like the acting is good and everything, but I love and I know it's based on a video game, and I know it's apparently been really true to the video game so far.
Mm-hmm.
But just this like super green post-apocalyptic world is really cool.
Yeah, and I haven't played the video game. I've always wanted to, but yeah, I like you said, it's a different spin on that kind of zombie trope, and very cool so far.
Mm-hmm. I love the way all the mushrooms look at it.
Yeah.
Like they look, especially like there's that one part in the first episode where I'm like, oh, it's Annihilation.
Yeah, no, definitely. Very much so.
Like, where's his Ouroboros tattoo?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just talk about Alex Garland again.
No, not yet. Not till his next thing.
But when is his next thing, Dad? When?
I don't know. I think he's on a bit of a break after Men.
I thought I heard he was doing something with like Uma Thurman or a different actress I really like.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But now I don't. Now, was that a fever dream? Who knows?
But
sometimes I just make things up. Whee!
Sure.
And then I forget that I did.
Well, and I was going to say, before we talk about the movie here,
yeah.
I was going to say it was interesting because we actually saw this movie the day we recorded our last episode. And after we saw it, we were like, oh my God, we need to record about this to tell people because it's amazing. Spoilers. But also everything happened, like life happened, and like, snowpocalypse and Christmas and everything. I was going to just do a solo recording because I was like, oh, Devin and I can't really get together. I'll just do something solo. Never did that, of course. But now we're back here to talk about the menu, which is now because it's on Disney Plus, which I was like, whoa, cool. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, didn't we just see this? I thought like 10 minutes ago.
We definitely saw it mid-December. And yeah, what did you think, Devin?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. That I kind of made you go see it because I saw the trailer and I was like, this is my movie. Let's go. Sure. And I wasn't disappointed, and I loved every minute of it, and I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, to piggyback off what you were just saying, I remember we saw the trailer, maybe when we saw Violent Night. No. Or yeah, I think when we saw Violent Night, there was a trailer for it. And I was kind of like, me with trailers, I'm pretty minimal reaction anyway. But I agree. I loved this movie as well. We're a couple psychos. We were laughing the whole time.
Oh my God. Amazing. It was so fucking funny to us.
Yep.
But no, it was really funny.
It 100% is, especially if you've ever worked in any kind of service industry.
Absolutely.
Worked in a restaurant specifically, or if you're even a fan of like food shows and food, like that whole new culture of that and everything like that. It just skewers all of that as well. So loved it. And
it was like 100% satire done correctly.
Yeah. But yeah, before going too much further into it, I would like to talk a bit about the director was Mark Millar. written by Seth Reese and Will Tracy. And I was reading how Will Tracy came up with the idea when he was on his honeymoon in Norway, and he took a boat to a fancy restaurant and realized that they were stuck on the island until the meal was done. So he was just like, that sparked his idea about something crazy happening on said island.
Yeah.
It stars, Ralph Fiennes putting in an amazing performance, I'd say.
Oh my God, he's so good in it. Yeah.
Like I was joking with you too, it sort of has that effect where it's like, if he's standing there delivering some kind of just exposition or dialogue, which he does a lot in this movie, and you just let him do that, it's just great. Right?
It's movie magic.
And we got Anya Taylor-Joy. She's having a big year.
Great in it too. Yeah.
And Nicholas Hoult, about a boy.
I've really, I've always enjoyed Nicholas Hoult, and this I feel like is one of his peak performances. Like this and The Great, which was like a TV show for Prime. He's so good at kind of being like a lovable asshole who doesn't know he's an asshole.
Yeah. And we'll get further into his performance a little bit later. And Hong Chow plays what's the word I'm looking for? The second in command.
The sous chef? She's kind of like the maitre d' almost.
Yeah, she's kind of the maitre d/ second in command. I just wanted to highlight her because, again, her performance was so crazy good.
Yeah, you know what? I think she would be an incredibly convincing dominatrix.
Sure, yeah. Well, yeah, she had that very stand-up, tall presence, but she's really tiny, short, and just telling people just no.
Yeah.
And what was so funny, of course, when we were both watching it, we got a John Leguizamo shows up as well, and we were both like, hey, we just talked about him.
Yeah, we got excited. And he was great in it too.
Of course, yeah, as this aging star who wants to change his image and transition to some sort of foodie show, right? And I didn't get the cast names. I'm sure I could look it up if I wanted, but the people who played the food critic and the magazine guy, because she's hilarious.
Angela from Who's the Boss?
Sorry, is that Angela from Who's the Boss? Wow.
No, that was the couple that
yes,
the husband knew Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, or the mom from Who's the Boss? It's Angela, right?
Yes, that sounds right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was some of our cast, the minimal cast. Obviously there's a big crew of chefs behind them, but they don't really all have names, except for the one who, again, we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, it's interesting for a movie that's very few sets, right? Most of it takes place in the restaurant.
Yeah, there's probably arguably 2 sets, maybe 3.
Yeah, and no flashbacks, which I didn't realize how annoyed I was getting with flashbacks until I watched something that doesn't have any.
Right. You're just wait, the whole story went from A to B without anything going back? Yeah.
But it still manages to really flesh out almost all the characters. You get a good sense of what kind of people they are.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, the movie was intensely gripping.
Oh my God. Yeah, everything about this movie was so good. I love the framing devices that they used of the menu.
Yeah. Yeah, every course would come up. Well, not every course, but it deteriorates. But in the beginning, you're like, oh, the amuse-bouche, and they kind of show it, and they show the ingredients and what it is, and you're like, oh, cool. And you hear, the chef give his explanation.
But you also get a little fancy writing on the screen that's telling you what it is too. It's so well done.
Yeah, I was really kind of just surprised about everything about it. Like you said, just this presentation was so different, but still so gripping, and just I loved every minute of it.
You know how I complain a lot about movies not having souls and just being made because they think it'll get it'll be content, it'll get views, maybe people will sign up for their streaming service. None of those feelings came out during the menu.
Yeah, it's interesting as well because it was done under Fox Searchlight, which I thought they were going to defunct because that's like was Fox's like indie brand
Yeah.
distributor, and of course they're owned by Disney now. But
Yeah.
I guess they still kept it around.
Disney Spotlight.
Yeah. Well, obviously, yeah. They don't want to call this Disney Spotlight.
It's a real family-friendly movie.
Definitely, yeah.
If your family is psychopaths.
One thing that's kind of interesting, just talking again about the dishes, right, is that the layouts were done by French chef Dominique Crenn, or Sren. She's the only female chef in America to have 3 Michelin stars, and so she was prepping the stuff. That was as of 2016, but basically, the cast and crew had to be like, "Don't eat it. It's like prop."
Nice.
Right? It's like we got to shoot this stuff or whatever, right? So I guess, there's probably like edible versions and not edible versions because obviously we see them eating food in the movie. But, yeah, so I thought that was kind of a funny thing that it's just like people would be like, "Ooh, check this out," and they're like, "No, you can't eat that."
No, that's plastic.
Yeah. Do you want to go into some more spoiler stuff in the movie?
Yeah, let's talk about the movie.
All right, so spoilers from here on out.
Everything is gonna get spoiled, like the leftover food from this movie. Okay, so basically the plot is super pretentious chef that makes pretentious food has an island with a restaurant on it that is funded by an angel investor. And he does these like little dinner parties that are it was like $10,000 a head or something.
He says $1,250, so I don't know if that was $1,250 or $12,050.
Okay, so a bunch of money to eat a meal.
The place is called Hawthorne, by the way.
Hawthorne, yeah. This is like a group of people because it's a small. He does small groups and he researches the people ahead of time so he can serve them the perfect meal. Yeah, so this is a group that's going that doesn't know it's a special night. Except for one of them, Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Definitely coming up.
But they go and they get served each course, and I guess the turn comes when the sous chef's course gets presented.
Yeah, the mess.
The mess. It does feel like a bit strange, but like also like rich people strange, not like holy shit we're gonna die strange. Yeah. And the sous chef comes out and shoots himself.
Yep.
And then the meal just carries on.
Yeah, initially some of the like the food critic especially, she's like, "No, it's just dinner theater because they're all about crazy elaborate meals. It's fine."
Yeah. And then, things get progressively worse. Somebody loses a finger.
The chef himself gets stabbed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They do a thing called, was it Man's Folly? Was that course?
Yeah, I think so.
So they do a course called Man's Folly, and they bring out everybody to the outside. And one of the chefs talk about how the main chef made a move on her.
He says he tried multiple times or whatever, right?
Yeah. And she gets to stab him with scissors in his thigh, which is great. And then they're like, "Yeah, all the men, you have the chance to go free. If you can get off the island, we'll leave you alone," kind of thing. But they catch them all. That was a fun one.
And the last person caught got an egg dish.
Yeah, he got a special egg dish, and then he eats it, and it's so good. He's hiding in a chicken coop, and then they find him, and they just kind of hand him the egg dish through a window.
Yeah. And in the meantime, during that one too, which was great, all the women were having their own course.
Yeah, they get their own course.
Yeah, while the chef explains or like talks about the dish that she came up with.
That's right. Yeah.
And she also explains at that point that it's like, no, we're all gonna die.
Yeah. And we also get some backstory on Anya Taylor-Joy's life, but I'll leave that ambiguous for now. So things get progressively worse. The angel investor gets drowned wearing angel wings.
Yeah, sorry.
And it culminates with dessert where the chef decides to turn everybody into s'mores.
Yep. Literally.
Literally. He puts little marshmallow hats on them and has
they're wearing they're wearing like a vest that's made of like chocolate and graham.
There's like graham crackers all sprinkled along the floor, and he blows up the restaurant with everybody inside.
Except,
but at that point, they've all just decided to accept their fate too.
Yeah, well, a couple of them try some stuff or whatever, and they just it all gets kind of shut down, right? Like the glass, the couple try to smash the glass, and it's like, no, it's like bulletproof glass. And then some of the chefs, in the background, especially, they're bulky people, and they just kind of like shut down any resistance.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like 6 tables, I think it is, like not even maybe 5 tables.
Yeah, there's the like business bros, the actor and his assistant.
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicholas Hoult, the couple, and then his mom is there. Did I miss anybody?
Well, then the review, the magazine and the review.
Oh, and oh my God, the broken emulsion is such a good gag.
Yeah. Just keep sending her bigger and bigger bowls of it.
For the bread course, they decide to like, he says it as like a commentary on society that like bread is peasant food, so they just get the dips, they don't get the actual bread. Which I love.
I love that. It's because again, like you're saying, at this point in the movie, it's like, oh, this is some weird rich people thing. Haha, you don't get any bread, right? Yeah.
And when she gets hers, she's like, oh, the emulsion's broken in this. Yeah. Like she's being really critical. And then throughout the movie, they keep giving her bigger and bigger bowls of the broken emulsion.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just wanted to go back to what you were saying with with Nicholas Hoult especially, is that like 3/4 of the way through the movie, we get the twist that he's actually been in contact with the chef for months, and he knows that everybody that's attending this dinner is going to die, and he actually kind of like either pretend or like he didn't go through with it with his girlfriend and brought Anya Taylor-Joy with him instead. And so it kind of recontextualizes all of his like kind of excitement about all the dishes and just wanting to try everything, and he's trying to get the chef's attention because he thinks, again, he talks about how he's like seen him do his cooking and he knows all about it and everything like that, but he's not a cook himself, right? So there's like that practicality versus the theory knowledge, right?
His little storyline is so like, he's an asshole. Everybody knows he's an asshole. He's a bad guy, but he's so endearing at the same time. Like his need for approval is just like, you almost feel for him at the end.
Well, because it's pretty brutal in the sense that, so the chef calls him up and he's like, oh yeah, as this either he's like gives him a jacket and he's like, all right, like make me something or whatever, right? And then they all just like crowd around him and like intimidate him, and it's just like, if you were trying to make something super basic, you'd be like, dude, I'm fucking up, just because there's like,
Oh, totally, yeah, and it's your hero too.
Yeah, and then he says something to him, probably of the effect of like, you'll never be able to cook, kind of a situation, and then he hangs himself.
Yep. Before dessert.
Yeah, it was just like, damn. And like Devin was saying, so he cooks up a dish with like lamb and leeks, I think I want to say, and a couple other things.
And it's like burnt and
yeah, and they call it Tyler's bullshit, and they bring it up with like the other dishes, and it's like sloppily plated and everything. So it was just so genius, like undercooked lamb and everything. It was so genius. Just like I couldn't believe that it was so well put together like that.
But like, yeah, you find out that he says his girlfriend broke up with him right before, but he wanted to go.
That he broke it off.
What's that?
Or like I said, I assume he broke it off or whatever.
Or she might have dumped him. He was a dick.
Yeah. Okay. Possible. Yeah.
But yeah, that he hired, like, Anya Taylor-Joy in the movie is a sex worker.
Yeah.
They don't like explicitly state it, but it's heavily implied. Yeah, and so he hires a sex worker knowing that she's going to die. And it's so fucking scummy because that's how much he wants to eat the food and you can't go by yourself.
Yep.
It's just like, and like when you think about it at the beginning, he's like talking about like how he's like excited to be seen with her because she's one of the cool girls and she never would have talked to him in high school. It's just like so fucking gross because she's playing along with his weird little like fantasy, I guess, that he's spinning as they go for dinner.
Yeah, she's providing a service.
Yeah, she's providing a service and she's doing a good fucking job because he's like when you think back at the beginning, it just recontextualizes the whole fucking relationship they have and the way he speaks to her and like how sometimes he's like really like, oh, you're so awesome, you're so great, and then he'll like flip a switch and kind of be like short and dickish with her.
Mm-hmm. No,
gets mad at her for not eating.
Yeah. No, like you said, I really love that recontextualization of everything that you're just like, oh my God.
You're like, he is the worst, and I'm very comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
Ugh. The other thing that's really interesting is kind of the relationship that Anya Taylor-Joy and Ralph Fiennes develop throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because he like she goes to the bathroom at one point to go have a cigarette, and he confronts her in the bathroom, and he's like, well, why don't you like my cooking? Why haven't you eaten anything yet? Seeking her approval, you know? Like he's like, why don't you like my food? What's wrong with my food? Why aren't you eating?
Yeah.
And then later when he's like, he starts to figure out that she doesn't belong there. And he's like, I think you're like me. I think you're in the service industry. So are you supposed to sit with them or are you supposed to sit with us? Was kind of an interesting conversation too.
100%. I love that conversation between the two where he's like they're delineating that line. It's like, yeah, there's us and there's them. Mm-hmm. People providing the service and people like leeching on the service.
It's also like because you also learn in that conversation that the couple that's there, that she's worked for the guy before.
Yes.
And that he had just like, it's so sad and gross at the same time because we don't know what happened with their daughter, but you get the impression that they're estranged or maybe their daughter passed away.
Yeah, I was thinking more of the estranged angle, but you're right. It could be she passed away as well. Yeah.
Could be either. And so Anya Taylor-Joy kind of looks like their daughter, and he hired her to like tell him he's a good person while he masturbates, and you're kind of like, gross.
Yep.
But also like there's something deeply sad about that.
Yep.
If she passed away, that's like incredibly sad that like that's the only way he feels like he can connect to her memory. And if they're estranged, it's still sad, but it's sad like, did he do something to push her away?
Yeah.
And it's so strange and sad and weird and gross.
Which is a great encapsulation and part of this movie.
Yeah.
Well, and then we also find out like the tech bro guys, how they're also part of the company that the angel investor is. Like they work under him because they tried it a couple times where they're like, don't you know who we work for, kind of thing, and they're like, yeah, we do. And then how they're possibly either embezzling or doing something shady, right? So and they're like the perfect encapsulation characters to be like, yeah, we don't care about these people, we want them to die.
Absolutely. Like seeing them, you're just like, yeah, you guys are gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kill them first.
Yeah, and then with John Leguizamo, like I said, he's trying to transition into a new career. His assistant's trying to quit as well.
He doesn't want her to.
Yeah, he's like, he doesn't want her to. Maybe again that they're in a relationship as well because she has like keys to like apartments in different cities. or she's his assistant.
Yeah, I felt like it was I felt like she was probably just his assistant. Like I didn't feel like there was anything more going on, except that he was incredibly like dependent on her.
Sure. I could see that as well. Yeah, and I just love it because again, he's like trying to pitch to her. Apparently, like he's going to have a meeting to pitch a show, and he's just like, yeah, just like travel around, eat some food, and then some shots on me, and then she's like, that's it, like, and he's like, yeah, that's the show. And you're just like that's so reductive, but it's like that was what at one point a lot of food television was. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of food television still is.
Sure. Well, exactly. Yeah, and there's usually always a spin or an angle, or it's like a chef like a la Bourdain or what have you who was doing that, right? Or he's just like, he's like an aging Hollywood guy. And how he made this movie, you think, it's called like Doc Sunshine or something like that, where it was a play to be like more taken seriously, and it flopped apparently, and Ralph Fiennes at the end, he's like, I have one day off and I watched this movie and it was terrible.
Yeah, and therefore you must die.
Yeah.
And then I love the excuse given for the assistant too. They're like, did you have student loans? And she's like, no. And they're like, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. Part of the elite class. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool as well. Like you were saying, just to go back, sorry, to Anya Taylor-Joy and the chef, because like he recognizes, like she is of a lower class, I'll just say, let's say lower tier. She's a service worker. And so he's just like, he's kind of, they have 2 or 3 scenes together, right? Where they have conversations about it and talk about this, on what side you are and like, do you like what you even do, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And I like how it all culminates. Like you said, she recognizes almost in a sense that he clearly hates what he's doing. And she like basically asks him to cook something simple, something that he would like to cook, right?
Yeah, and that she can just enjoy, and that ends up saving her life.
Yeah.
It's like you're not cooking for the prestige, you're just cooking because like a
someone's hungry
is delicious.
Yeah, someone wants a tasty burger.
Yeah. Man, I keep thinking about the no bread course. That's so fucking clever.
It was so good. Yeah, and even there's even a great shot, because I got the movie on beside me while we're recording so I can refresh my memory. But there is a great shot of bread, like when he's describing the bread course, right?
Yeah.
And then like I was saying before, the maitre d', because the tech bro guys are like, seriously, give us some bread. Like, we own this restaurant. And then she's like, she says no a couple times, and then she does that great line where she's like, you're going to get more than you deserve, but less than you want, but more than you deserve, kind of thing.
Yeah. So she's so good at dressing them down. Like any interaction she has with the tech bros is chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's gold. I wanted to ask you about the scene when Anya Taylor-Joy is sent on a task, because she's like, you know what? I'm not part of the rich elite. I'll do, and he's like, oh, go get the meat. And then she has a confrontation with the maitre d', but as well as
the barrel. She has to go get the barrel.
Sorry, she has to get the barrel, but it's out of the meat area, if I recall correctly. But she finds a radio, and a Coast Guard, a Coast Guard-esque guy shows up. I don't know, like, did you see that coming, that it was all part of the show, in a sense?
Oh, that he was, like, on the side of the like, he knew it was coming, kind of thing?
Yeah, well, like, did you think, like, the chef planned for something like that, and that guy, like that, because he's a cook, like, because he takes off and just puts on an apron, the guy who shows up, and it turns out it's all an elaborate act. I don't know, how do you feel about that twist, I guess, in a sense?
I mean, like, it wasn't, I'll say this, it wasn't the most interesting part of the movie, but I felt like I didn't feel like it was out of character for the chef to have done that.
Right.
It felt a little bit more like traditional cinema, like, here's the twist, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. The only thing I can think of as well is, one thing I do like about it is that like you said, it's like that traditional, like, oh, here's the ray of hope. Nope, crushed, right?
Yeah.
And then, like you said, then they really do resign themselves to their fate, where they're just like, someone called and tried. It's like, there's no way out now. Right.
I mean, like, if that part was cut from the movie, I don't think it would have detracted anything from the movie, but I didn't mind it in there.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking about. It almost kind of seems like out of theme because everything else is like involved with like the dishes and the thing that it's like suddenly it's like the outside Coast Guard element and you're like,
It was fine.
Yeah. All right.
I give it a fine out of 10.
Fair enough.
Everything about this movie is so clever that when something slightly less clever happens, it's not as exciting.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. One other thing that was kind of interesting is that I found this IMDb. Emma Stone was apparently going to attach to the role.
That I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much.
Yeah, I don't. This was in 2019, and Alexander Payne was going to direct, but then I guess scheduling, COVID, etc. And then in 2021, we got the cast and director we got.
I feel like, okay, don't take this the wrong way because Anya Taylor-Joy is obviously a stunningly beautiful woman, but her kind of wide set eyes makes her a bit more interesting looking than like an Emma Stone type actress. And I feel like that it makes her like slightly unsettling, and it works better in this kind of movie than somebody that's more like traditionally good looking.
Yeah, say conventional, attractive.
Conventional, yeah. Like I think Margot Robbie's a great actress, but I don't think it would have been the same with Margot Robbie.
Sure.
But you know who could have done that role? I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy was great, so this isn't like talking bad about her. And I can't remember her name. The actress that looks a lot like Margot Robbie from The Babysitter.
Oh, do you mean like Bella Thorne?
No. The blonde one.
I haven't seen The Babysitter.
Oh, you haven't? That's right. What else is she in? More things you haven't seen. She was in Ready or Not.
Oh, as the main actress there?
Yeah.
I've just seen the poster, unfortunately, but.
Hang on, I'm just looking it up.
Yeah.
Samara Weaving.
Nice.
I think she could have done a good job in that.
Yeah, because she's got kind of that lithe, skinnier face look as well, right?
Yeah, and kind of like the wider eyes and like, yeah, like nobody would call either of them unattractive, but she definitely has something that is interesting and different and just mildly, like, I don't want to keep saying unsettling, but like Emma Stone has a certain amount of warmth in her face that would have, I think, detracted from the role.
Yeah, no, again, it would have been a different...
And she's too much of like a girl next door. Like you needed somebody that's a little... In a weird movie, you need somebody that's a little weird.
Yeah. No, and I was saying, and clearly, like I was saying, Anya Taylor-Joy, bumper year for her because she was in The Northman as well.
Yeah. You need somebody that would be in The Northman.
Yeah. No, you're right, and like because she was in The Vitch, and she does have a different look with her face, and one thing I forgot to mention as well is I really did like we were talking about how again like the class thing, like where Anya Taylor-Joy, she's wearing like sensible boots, not like heels of some kind, right? Like not like she's wearing a more practical shoe in an evening gown type dress, but like it's not like a matching outfit situation if you're going to go to this fancy dinner, right?
I wouldn't call it an evening dress. I'd call it like a slip dress.
Sure. Like, sorry, I don't know my terms.
No, but I mean that it looks like a dress that you could get at a mall.
Yeah.
And that makes sense for her character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like it is interesting always like the what if castings that like, with Emma Stone would have been different. Because again, she's a fine actress, obviously, but it just different look for sure.
I think it would have taken away from the movie, honestly. But it would be like if you hired like I don't know, Tom Hiddleston to play the head chef.
Right.
Like, he's a great actor, but he's too conventionally good looking for a role like that.
Well, I would find like he doesn't have the same kind of gravitas as like a Ralph Fiennes does.
Yeah, and he's too charming to play that kind of role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I was gonna say one thing again, just quickly going back to the Emma Stone thing. You know, makeup, lighting, it could be different, but you know, it's all good. not to continue this point.
She's still Emma Stone, and she's a great actress, but she's still Emma Stone at the end of the day.
Of course, yeah.
And I kind of feel like Anya Taylor-Joy has that quality where she's a bit like Cate Blanchett. You know, like when you watch her thing with Cate Blanchett in it, you don't really see Cate Blanchett. You see whatever character she's playing.
Right.
And I feel like Emma Stone, you kind of see Emma Stone.
You know what Emma Stone needs to do? And there's, I'm going to piggyback off something that the Weekly Planet guys, to derail this for 1 second. She needs to come back as Gwen for a live action Spider-Gwen movie.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be great.
I would totally watch that.
Me too.
Yeah. There's some actors where their appeal is that they are charismatic people, like, full stop. It doesn't matter what they're in. They're just kind of like, I feel like Jennifer Lawrence is kind of like that as well. Like, she's always Jennifer Lawrence and it works in movies and stuff, but like, she's still like just kind of her charming self, whether she's Katniss or Silver Linings Playbook lady.
Well, and that's what I was saying. Like, that was kind of my issue with Black Adam, is that, you know, you cast The Rock, who is a charismatic, jovial guy, and then you turn him into this stoic, I don't want to do anything character who talks with a gravity voice, and you're like, well, come on, man, you're The Rock.
Yeah, it's like casting Jack Black as like a dull person.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Come on. Yeah. Like casting Jack Black as like banker number 5. Like, no, and then not letting him be charming. Just
that's what I was saying, yeah, and being like, no, cut, say the line.
Just say the line, Jack.
Yeah. No emoting, Jack.
Take that sparkle out of your eyes.
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's anything more I could say aside from, like I said, it was brilliant. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was funny. It's maybe not thrilling in a way, but I was gripped by the movie the whole time. I thought it, or did I mention this already before, that like I thought it was initially just going to be like, oh, it's just going to turn to cannibalism kind of a thing, but it was so much more than that, and I was so happy to see it.
Yeah, I totally thought it was going to be a cannibalism movie too, but no, it's like it wasn't. It was great.
Yeah. It was, like you said, this was a movie, and it wasn't just content.
Yeah, it was so nice to watch something that wasn't just content. Like, my expectations are so fucking low now, but this blew them out of the water because it was a great movie. And I think even if I wasn't beat down by this constant need for shit to be made, that I would still enjoy the fuck out of it because it's just a great movie that was really well written, well acted, interestingly filmed.
Yeah, for like you said, for like a one set kind of, for like 90% of the time we're in the one area, but it still gets some good interesting angles. You get people, you get different shadows, you know, every time it flashes and you can see the whole kitchen, you see just like all the workers being efficient behind them, you know, despite the craziness that's going on, they're still making those dishes, right? Yeah, chef. And they just do it. Yeah,
it's good. I like for as much as I feel like this year, like 2022, was just like highs and lows for movies and TV shows for me personally, because I felt like it had some of the most garbage, like just made for content shit put out, but it also had like so many great films, like Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Menu, Men, even though I'm the only one who liked that movie. You know, it was a nice counterbalance to all the disappointments that happened this year, like Thor 5 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the list of movies I saw in 2022, and there's definitely some good stuff in there. Like I didn't see and again, this is just movies I saw in theater, so except for Prey. But everything else that I saw in theater, there was some good stuff. Like you said, No Way Home, Batman, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Northman, Men, See How They Run was a lot of fun. Violent Night and The Menu. I think that out of that list that I've just said, I mean, I think The Menu, maybe because I saw it the most recently, but like it was probably my favorite movie I saw last year.
I mean, it was up there for me. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once was my favorite movie of 2022, but The Menu is definitely like possibly second to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It was like pretty good.
If I had to say my top like 5 movies of 2022, Everything Everywhere is in there.
Mm.
The Menu, probably The Woman King.
Right, yeah, you really enjoyed that, you said.
I really enjoyed that. Men is in there. What else came out? What else did I see? Oh, and then I think I would put Violent Night in there over Glass Onion.
Right, yeah. Violent Night was quite enjoyable.
I mean, it was just like, it was a fun action movie that really utilized Christmas well.
Yeah, well, that for sure, like we talked about, it was like, this is a Christmas movie for sure.
Yeah, and it like surprisingly had a lot of heart too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think The Menu would come in like just squeak right under Everything Everywhere, because I just liked that. But I don't know. I can't get over the fanny pack fight.
I mean, that was pretty excellent.
So excellent.
Yeah. Pretty excellent. Well, and I don't know if you, again, you know me, I'm not much of the awards, but I do see the headlines, and it got nominated for like 11 Oscars or something crazy like that.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope they win like a bunch of them, because I'd like more movies like that to be made.
Sure.
It's another movie that just felt like it had heart and soul. Like it didn't feel like it was just content being put out for a streaming platform. I'm so bitter.
Yeah, definitely.
I really want to see X and Pearl.
Yeah, right. I mean, I've been hearing good stuff about them.
Yeah, X is on Prime, so like maybe sometime this year we should do a review on those two together. That would be cool.
Well, and isn't there a third one coming related to that series?
Oh, is there?
I thought I heard something like that.
Good. I like Mia Goth. She's interesting.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I thought I heard something like that, and they were like, this one's going to be whatever, more different or more intense, whatever.
Nice.
Yeah. Check it out. It's on D+ now. Great movie.
Yeah, we both recommend it highly.
Yes.
Unless you're a boring person, then you won't like it.
Well, I mean,
I'm just gonna alienate our listeners now.
No, I was just saying, I mean, it, the humor could be off-putting for some, and people could not be into it.
Like it's absolutely not a movie for my nana.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like there, there's an asterisk, but overall, damn, what a movie.
Yeah. She's not a boring person either. I should point that out. I'm not gonna come on here with grandmother slander.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I've insulted people by saying that if you're boring, you won't like it. There's people that I know that are boring that wouldn't like it, or that aren't boring that wouldn't like it. So
sure.
I take that back. But it is an excellent movie, especially if you don't mind dark humor and you kind of have a bit of a nihilistic streak in you. Like me and Dan. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, thank you for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and you can find us on Instagram, which is Tome of Uselessness, or our website, tomeofuselessness.com. You can email us with suggestions or to argue about points we made. Maybe you think that Emma Stone was the right choice for this movie. You can email us at tomeofuselessness@gmail.com, and we hope that you are healthy and happy and well. And we don't have a Patreon, right?
No. but we might in the future.
We might have a Patreon eventually, and then we'll tell you about it when that happens.
Ciao.